Hello everyone, welcome back to Shortcode. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to create, use and manipulate lists in Python. I have lots of experience in Python, and by the end of this video you will have a great understanding about lists in Python and how to use them. Okay, now let's learn about lists. Lists are one of 4 different collection data types. They are lists, tuples, sets and dictionaries. They are just collections of data types basically. So, for example, they can hold strings, integers, and even other collections. All of these are useful in different situations, and it is key that you learn about all of their properties, so you know which one to use for your program to make it as effective as possible. So, a list is a collection which is ordered and changeable. This means that the items in the list will stay in the order that you put them in, and you are able to change the list items partway through your program. Let's get on to some examples of lists now. Okay, so as you know, the first thing we want to do is open up idle. Just create a new file. Okay, so let's create our first list. So I'll just call mine fruit equals square bracket. And then you can fill this with whatever you want as long as it's like a valid data type. So I'm just going to have some strings in here. So apples, comma, bananas, comma, what else is there? Oranges, and one more, kiwis. And then close it off with a square bracket. And then we can print fruit, and save that. And now if we run it, we can see we get apples, bananas, oranges, and kiwis. So you can just print them out as usual, as you would with any other variable, and notice how they're in the exact same order as when you wrote it out. So apples is first, then bananas is second, oranges are third, and kiwis are fourth. This is a key property to lists, they are ordered. So as you can see, to make a list you surround your data in square brackets, and you separate your data with these commas here to show that they're different items, and we can just print a list like any other variable. Okay, now let's talk about accessing the items in a list. We can access them by referring to their index number. What I mean by this is each item is numbered, and the first item has an index of 0, and the second one has an index of 1, and so on. And indexes start at 0, so if I just make a comment up here for you guys. Oh, didn't mean to do that up here. So if I just tab over. So this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. We can access them by writing the list name. So let's just print fruit. And then in square brackets right next to it, we'll print 1. Run it. As you can see, we get bananas because we're accessing the first index, which is bananas, because 1 is right here. So if we change this to 0, save it and run it, we get apples because index 0, 0 to apples. We also have negative indexing, so you just do it exactly the same as you would with just normal indexing, apart from it's like almost reversed. So this last item over here is index -1. This one's -2, this one is -3, and this one over here is -4. So it's basically just reversed, and we can do exactly the same thing. We can print fruit -1. There we go, we got the last item in the list. In negative indexing, -1 is the last item. By the way, if you are enjoying the video at the moment, or are finding it useful, make sure to give the video a like, it really does help me out. We can specify a range of indexes with a start number and an end number. We use the start index followed by a colon and then the end index. So if we just do it like this, print fruit 1, 4, even though we don't actually have the 4th index, it's still going to print out, and I'll explain why. We get bananas, oranges, and kiwis. It started at 1, printed out the first index, second index, and third index, and you might think, but what about the 4th index? Well, it never actually goes to the 4th index. The 4th index is not included if we change this to 3, it just prints out bananas and oranges, and it never goes to number 3, so number 3 isn't included. I'm going to show you a common error you find with list indexing. So if we print fruit 6, we're going to get an error because 6 doesn't exist. So if we run it, we get list index out of range. For index 6, it's not part of this list, it doesn't exist. Back to index ranges. If we leave out the first value when we're doing index ranges, so if we just print fruit and then colon 3, it'll just stop. Oh, forgot to close the brackets. Oh, we need to get rid of this. There we go. It'll just start at 0 and then go up to 3, but it doesn't print out 3. So missing out the start value is literally just a short way of saying 0 to 3. And we can also miss out the last value, so we can print fruit 2 colon, and that'll print out everything from 2 to the end, which is only kiwis and oranges. Let's now move on to modifying lists, which is another key property. They're not static and are not set in stone. You can modify them partway through the program. So to change the value of an item, we could just go like this, fruit, and then get the index. So let's change oranges. So fruit 2, because 2 here, 2, equals satsumas. So fruit 2 equals satsuma, and now we print fruit. Run it, and you can see we now get apples, bananas, and oranges has been replaced with satsuma, and we still get kiwis. To modify something, get the list index, and then you just assign a different value to the list index. The original item is now overwritten by the new value. We can also check if an item is part of a list by using the in operator. So we can do if satsuma in fruit print satsuma is in fruit. There we go. And then we get satsuma is in fruit because satsuma has been modified into this fruit list. It's replaced oranges. It's checking if satsuma is in fruit, which it is. So let's print satsuma is in fruit. Let's also do another one. If oranges in fruit print oranges is in fruit. Run it. And as you can see, we don't get anything because oranges is no longer in fruit. It was changed up here. And then if oranges is in fruit, which it isn't, so let's just miss out this and ignore it. Let's now talk about list functions. There are quite a few. We're not going to cover them all in this video, but we are going to go through some of the important ones. So we have the append function, which just adds one item onto the end of a list. So we could do fruit.append another value, print fruit, and as you can see it's printed out the list and then it's added on another value. Now to keep this clean, I'm just going to comment all this out. If you're wondering how to do that, highlight something, press Alt and then press 3, and to get rid of it, press Alt and 4. I accidentally commented this out, which we don't want. To add an item at a certain place or a certain index, you use the insert function. So fruit.insert. So we need the index, so I want to insert it at, let's say, 1. And let's put in there the object, which is going to be new value. And then let's print fruit. I'm going to actually get rid of this print statement right here, just to keep it clean. As you can see, a new value has been inserted at index 1, but bananas is still there, it's just been shifted up to the next index. The remove function removes an item, so if we do fruit.remove, which is, we need the value, so let's remove kiwis. print fruit. As you can see, we no longer have kiwis because it's searched for the value kiwis, it's found it, and it's removed it. We've got the pop function, which is very similar to remove, but instead of searching for an item itself, it searches for the index. So I'm going to remove the last item. No, in fact I'm going to remove the first item. So fruit.pop0, and then we print fruit and run it. And as you can see, we no longer have apples because index 0 has been popped, which was apples. So it's basically just removed the first value, and that's how you remove a value through indexes rather than the actual name. It's useful for when you don't know the actual contents of a list, but you just want to get rid of the first item. We can also completely get rid of all the contents of a list using the clear function, so we can do fruit.clear, print fruit. And as you can see, we've now got an empty list because every single item in the list has been completely removed. We have the copy function. For the copy function, you would usually assign it to a variable. So let's just call it copy fruit equals fruit.copy. And then if we print out fruit and print out copy fruit, run it, and as you can see, we've now got two different lists that have the exact same values because one has been copied. We can also reverse the order of a list, so we can do fruit.reverse. I'm going to also get rid of these print statements. And then, as you can see, the entire contents of the list have been completely just flipped around. And finally, we have the sort function. So we do fruit.sort, and it actually takes two parameters, which is reverse and key. We're not going to talk about key today, but we are going to talk about reverse. So if you just leave key blank, what sort will do is it'll sort it alphabetically. So if we run it, as you can see, A, B, N, O, it's alphabetical. But what we can do is write reverse equals true, and that'll reverse it all, so it starts with the last letter O, N, B, A. There are a few more list methods that we could talk about now, but they aren't really necessary and some of them are quite advanced, so I recommend you play around with these functions that we have learned yourself to get a bit more practice. Once you have done that, come back to the video and leave a comment saying what you think is the most useful list function. Okay, that's everything to do with lists. Next video we will go over a different collection type, which is called a tuple. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on that. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them down below. Also give this video a big fat thumbs up if you found it useful or enjoyed. Also subscribe for more Python tutorials. That's it from me. Cheers. Goodbye.